Coming your way on today's San Francisco 49ers report, I'm going to explain why Bucs offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs, who's looking for a contract extension from Tampa Bay, has not received it yet, is my dream trade target for the San Francisco 49ers. And then also why Nick Bosa is primed for a big year. After last year, he was still really good, but not up to Nick Bosa standards. First, over the weekend, and by the way, I hope all of you out there had a great Memorial Day weekend. We surpassed 133,000 subscribers right here on the show. Thank you so much, the faithful, for supporting the program here. And if you want daily shows on the Niners that are informative, entertaining, insightful, that involve you, the fan, lock us in, hit that sub button. And with that, let's talk some Niners football right now. All right, let's do this thing. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Hope your weeks are off to a great start. Today's Niners Report is sponsored by Roan. You can get 20% off on the best menswear. We'll tell you more about what Roan has to offer coming up. As you can see, I'm wearing their commuter polo right now. My dream trade target for the San Francisco 49ers, which would make the Niners a better football team in 2024 and beyond, and also fortify the offensive line and the trenches beyond the Trent Williams era, Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, he's currently seeking a new contract. There's a lot of chatter about him maybe holding out from Buccaneers training camp if Tampa Bay does not elect to pay him. And if things get ugly, could they decide to deal him away in an offseason in which they've taken care of a lot of their own players, but not yet Tristan Wirfs. So he did not participate in voluntary OTAs. It is not the end of the world. These contract negotiations are continuing right now. He's set to play under the fifth-year option at a high number of $18.2 million. And with this new deal, he's going to secure the bag. He's going to get paid handsomely. He could become the highest paid offensive tackle in the National Football League. And going back to that original point, what have the Bucs done this offseason? A big emphasis taking care of some of their own players. Mike Evans got a lofty deal. Baker Mayfield got paid. Antoine Winfield became the highest paid defensive back in the history of the NFL. And Winfield and Wirfs in similar spots here. Winfield, during the 2023 campaign, played out his contract. He played extraordinarily well, and Tampa Bay said, we want you to be one of our franchise cornerstones. We're going to give you a massive record-breaking deal. The issue is that Wirfs might not want to go into 2024 without the long-term financial security. Oftentimes, players want to know that they have a deal that's going to take care of them barring injuries happening, because if an injury does happen and they don't get paid, they could be screwed. So that long-term financial commitment is big, and that's probably what Tristan Wirfs is looking for at a position in which you are making contact with defensive players on literally every single play. Another part of this equation, what could a deal for Tristan Wirfs look like? Well, Penalties and the Detroit Lions agreed to a 4-year, $112 million contract extension. I'm not going to go as far as to say that Wirfs is better than Penei Sewell. What's interesting, though, Wirfs plays left tackle. He has played right tackle in the past. Sewell plays right tackle. When you have a right-handed throwing quarterback like the Lions with Jared Goff and the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield do, that blindside protection like Trent Williams provides for Brock Purdy is looked at as a little bit more valuable. Where do the Niners fit in? We will tackle that part of the equation as well. The trade capital that you would have to give up for Tristan Wirfs and the financial commitment would be hefty. But I've seen all of you asking me about this in the comment section here on the Niners Report. A lot of you have reached out to me on social media asking what it would take for the Niners to lure the Buccaneers into dealing away Tristan Wirfs. The answer to that question, a lot. But I wanted to talk about it here on the show because could you imagine, at least for the next couple of years, or however long Trent Williams wants to play, having Trent Williams at left tackle and Tristan Wirfs at right tackle, your offensive line goes from being suspect and a big question mark to becoming a massive strength and potentially a dominating unit. Then, when Trent Williams decides to hang him up and retire, and I still think he has a lot of great football left in the tank, it's up to him for how long he wants to play. Wirfs, who's played, again, right tackle and left tackle, can go back from right tackle to left tackle to take over for Trent Williams in the post-Trent Williams era. Well, Chase, the 49ers, they don't have the money. Keep in mind this. The salary cap in the National Football League, given the increasing popularity of the game, the continued popularity of the game, the demand, maybe having an 18th game, which will make the NFL even more money, selling out stadiums overseas and looking to maybe expand your international footprint to grow the game, and already just the NFL having a stranglehold over America, teams are going to have more salary cap space. On top of that, you'll probably have to make some difficult roster decisions next year in which you let go of some highly paid players if you want to bring in a Tristan Wirfs on your football team. I'm just a believer that you build championship level teams at the NFL level in the trenches. And making the offensive line better is something that the Niners need to do, but they continue to really ignore at least the right side of the offensive line. Because in the biggest of games the last couple of years, where have the Niners come up short? It's been along the offensive line. And why Wirfs would be a dream, excellent player with consistent production. He's been good ever since he came into the league. 2023 Pro Football Focus grade, 81.1. Pass blocking, 84.3. Run blocking, 72.2. He did struggle a little bit at times. 6 penalties, 5 sacks, 6 hits allowed, 24 pressures on more than 1,000 snaps. But what do you look for? You do look for that consistency. And whether it be overall grade, run blocking grade, pass blocking grade, you've seen the highs. A 90.5 pass blocking grade from 2022. You don't see a lot of lows. The run blocking grade can get a little bit better, but athleticism, quickness, durability, scheme fit, well over 1,000 snaps in 3 of the last 4 years, Tristan Wirfs would fit seamlessly into this Niners offense. Would you trade for him, and would you pay Tristan Wirfs? That's what it would have to be. You don't make a trade for a player of this caliber if you don't give him a contract extension. Let me know down in the comments section. D for do it, T for too pricey. I think it's unrealistic to answer once again the questions that I have received from everybody, but that's why he's categorized as a dream trade target from yours truly. Today's 49ers report, by the way, is sponsored by Roan, the best, classiest, most durable, most comfortable menswear in the game. And the best part about it is, for the faithful, not only can you look good, feel good, but you can get 20% off if you use the code CHATSPORTS by utilizing that link down below, roan.com/chatsports. Breathable, stretchable, durable, wrinkle release technology, odor-free technology, but also the versatility to what Roan has to offer. You can go with a golf polo like this. I golfed in this a couple of weeks ago. Shot a sub 90. No big deal. Hadn't played in a long time. Just a slight flex. You can also get a button-up. And you can wear those shirts casually with some jeans like sometimes I do, or with the suit if you're going to a wedding, because we all know it's about to be wedding season. So you have the golf polos, you have the button-up shirts. I also love their shorts and their pants. They have everything that you need to really enhance your wardrobe so that you're looking drippy out on these streets. 20% off, roan.com/chatsports. We'll put that link down below in the show notes as well as in the description of this video. Really appreciate Roan for being a longtime sponsor here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Now let's segue to story number 2 on today's San Francisco 49ers Report. This is why I think Nick Bosa is primed for a bounce-back season in 2024 where he plays more so like he did in 2022 compared to last year when he was slow to get going. And it's not like he was bad during the 2023 campaign. In fact, some of his numbers in 2023 were better than when he won Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 92.7, a run defense grade of 81.9. I think that's an area of his game in which he did take a leap in last year because he was really good at setting the edge and making plays against the run. A pass rush grade of 92.6. His pressure numbers, ridiculous, up there with some of the best edge rushers in the game, 95 in 2023. He still tallied 60 hurries, 21 quarterback hits. And this all came on 567 pass rush snaps, the big number that did decrease a lot from when he won DPOY, the 10.5 sacks. And to me, what was noticeable is that last year it took him a little while to get going, to find a rhythm as a pass rusher, because he got to the quarterback as evidenced by the quarterback pressure and hit numbers, but he was consistently a fraction of a second off from turning those pressures and hits to materializing those into sacks. And it left you wondering, man, what if he was with this team during training camp? And what if he had that seasoning? It could have helped this defense be a little bit better because we saw the defense dip a little bit from when they were balling under D'Amico Ryans to when they struggled at times under Steve Wilkes. And then for the players specifically, there was just that gap. And that fraction of a second, that was the difference in a quarterback getting rid of the ball and Nick Bosa having 18.5 sacks like he did in 2022. But like I was explaining, some of the numbers from last year were better than when he won Defensive Player of the Year. The Pro Football Focus overall grade was better last year compared to this. The run defense grade, right on par. The pressure numbers, still excellent here. But why I think that he's due for one of those 2022-like campaigns is a couple of reasons here. He has a consistently productive edge rusher opposite of him in Leonard Floyd, who's going to give you more consistent play, more consistent effort, and more consistent production as compared to a player like Chase Young, whose effort would wane, and it would be lackadaisical from time to time. Leonard Floyd has twitch, he has speed, a really good first step. The pursuit is something that I like watching on tape because he never gives up on a play. And over the last 4 years, he's had at least 9 sacks in each of those seasons. Nick Bosa hasn't had a player like that opposite of him since a healthy D Ford, and D Ford wasn't healthy for a long time. Also, we heard it multiple times last year how Bosa kind of took slight jabs at Steve Wilkes, and it became clear that he wasn't really a big fan of the scheme. At times, Bosa wasn't able to be on that straight line to the quarterback. They'd call a lot of twists, stunts, and gains, and it would delay Bosa in being able to get to the QB. And now he's at OTAs. He has a full offseason to really tune up and turn up, and he even said, "This is the best that I've felt in a little while." This is what he said from OTAs last week. "I'm taking it a little bit slower, but everything's great. I'm feeling as good as I've felt. I'm excited to actually get some practice in. Last year was kind of tough getting thrown in there week 1 after a walkthrough, so that was another reason I'm excited to be here, just to get practicing a little bit. In-season practice is one thing, but actually being able to work on your stuff and not have a game coming up is good." He did not sign the largest contract ever for a non-quarterback in the history of the NFL until right before the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a credit to Bosa being able to play in that game because he was still in really, really good shape, but he wasn't in that peak form. And now with the full offseason that's going to be under his belt, if he can stay healthy, he's going to have that. And that's why I think a return to a 2022-like year for Nick Bosa is on the horizon. And over the weekend, I posed this question on X. Be sure to give me a follow at Jace_senior. Bosa's sack totals by year. Comes in as a rookie. 2019, Super Bowl season, he has 9. And then in 2020, none because he tore his ACL at MetLife Stadium on that awful turf surface, week 2. But then he comes back off that injury in 2021, has 15 and a half sacks. In 2022, 18 and a half. And let me throw this out there. He only had 10 and a half in 2023, his second least of his career, but in the playoffs against Green Bay, against Detroit, against Kansas City, I thought he was really, really good, really impactful. So I leave you with this. How many sacks will Bosa have in 2024? Let me know down below. And as always, thanks for watching the 49ers Report.